Genesis chapter 49, verses 1 to 4. Then Jacob called for his sons and said, "Gather around so I can tell you what will happen to you in days to come. Assemble and listen, sons of Jacob. Listen to your father Israel. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, the first sign of my strength, excelling in honor, excelling in power. Turbulent as the waters, you will no longer excel, for you went up onto your father's bed, onto my couch, and defiled it." Reuben, Jacob's eldest son, lost his birthright due to grave immorality. According to 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 1, he defiled his father's bed with Bilhah, his father's concubine. As a result, his inheritance was given to Joseph's sons, while Judah received the status of ruler, rendering Reuben's family less prominent in Israelite history. In Revelation chapter 7, verse 5, the tribe of Reuben is listed among the 12 tribes of Israel, with 12,000 of its members sealed by God, marking them as protected servants. Despite Reuben losing his birthright due to sin, his inclusion signifies the divine grace and redemption, placing them among the 144,000 evangelists for Christ during the tribulation. The symbolic stone of this tribe is emerald, sea green in color, suggestive that the restless sea, Reuben was unstable as water. Simeon, Genesis chapter 29, verse 33. Born to Leah, Genesis chapter 34, verses 24 to 31, a part of the massacre of Hivites to revenge their assault of his sister Dinah. Genesis chapter 42 to verse 24, chosen to be held prisoner in Egypt as security for the return of his brothers. Genesis chapter 49, verse 5 to 7, his father predicted that his descendants will be scattered. In Revelation chapter 7, verse 7, 12,000 Simeonites sealed. Symbolic stone, saffron, a rich azure color, the color of sky on a clear day. Levi, Leah's third son, Genesis chapter 29, verse 34, we see, born to Leah. And in Genesis chapter 34, verse 25 and further, takes part along with Simeon in massacre of the Hivites. And in 46, verse 11 in Genesis, Jacob predicts that his descendants will be scattered. In Revelation chapter 7, 12,000 Levites sealed. A well-known descendants from this tribe were Moses, Aaron, Miriam, Samuel. Since the tribe of Levi was set apart for service, it is not listed as a tribe by the time of the high priest. Therefore, there is no stone symbolizing this tribe. Genesis chapter 29, verse 35. She, Leah, conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, this is fourth son, she said, "This time I will praise the Lord." So she named him Judah. Judah means praise the Lord or worship the Lord. Beautiful name she gave to this fourth son. We'll see how Jacob is going to bless this son. Two sons of Judah killed by divine judgment for their sins. Genesis chapter 38, verses 11 to 30. And his treatment of Tamar and the birth of Pharez and Zerah is chapter 37, verses 26 to 28. And he saves Joseph's life. In Revelation chapter 5, 12,000 descendants of Judah sealed, well-known descendants from this tribe with Jesus Christ fulfilling Jacob's prophecy, David, Solomon, Caleb, Othniel, Achan, Zerubbabel, and Nehemiah. Symbolic stone of Judah is sardis, a ruby. Since it is blood red, it is a strong symbol of the atonement that would come through tribe's most important descendant, Jesus Christ. Dan, Genesis chapter 30, verses 5 to 6, born to Belha. Genesis chapter 46, verse 23, Jacob mentions his future as one of the tribes of Israel. Judges chapter 18, verse 30, Danites guilty of idolatry. Revelation chapter 7, verse 5 to 8, Dan is omitted from the list of the tribes that are sealed. Well-known descendants, Oholiab and Samson. Dan's symbolic stone, barley, known for its hardness. Tribe of Dan seems to be always fighting or taking over. The tribe of Dan is primarily symbolized by a snake. In Genesis chapter 49, verse 17, which describes Dan as a serpent by the roadside, a viper along the path that bites the horse's heels so that the rider tumbles backward. Naphtali, Genesis chapter 30, verse 7 to 8, born to Bilhah, Rachel's maid. Jacob refers to him as a dove set free. 49, verse 31. Numbers chapter 1, verses 42 to 43, fighting men number 53,000. Joshua chapter 19, verses 32 to 39, descendants settle in hill country of northern Palestine, promised land, perhaps showing their independent spirit. Jacob's prophecy. Jesus Christ's ministry was located in this territory. Revelation chapter 7, verse 6, 12,000 of tribe of Naphtali sealed. Symbolic stone, jasper, transparent, very clearly can see through. The tribe of Naphtali reflected very clearly the glory of God as Christ's ministry was located in their territory. Gad, Genesis chapter 30, verses 10 to 11, born to Zelphah. Genesis chapter 46, verse 16, had 7 sons. In 49, verse 19, Jacob prophesies about future raids on Gad. Deuteronomy chapter 33, verses 20 to 21, Moses blesses Gad for the enlargement of the tribe of Gad and praises the tribe's warrior. Revelation chapter 7, verse 5, 12,000 Gadites sealed. Symbolic stone, a diamond, a stone so hard it scratches all other stones. The tribe of Gad had hard determination to get the first part of the Canaan inheritance, for it's ahead of everyone else. Numbers chapter 32, verses 1 to 36. Asher, Genesis chapter 30, verses 12 to 13, born to Zelphah, and 46, verses 17, 4 sons Asher had, and 49, verse 20, his father refers to rich food and delicacies for the family of Asher. Joshua chapter 19 verses 24 to 30. Allotment of land for the tribe of Asher includes the fertile farmland near the Mediterranean coast. Revelation chapter 7 verse 6. 12,000 of the tribe of Asher sealed. Symbolic stone is onyx, a precious stone marked the parallel of layers or band of different shades of color. Issachar, Genesis chapter 30 verse 17 to 18, born to Leah, and Issachar had 4 sons, and Jacob describes a people that will submit to the oppression of foreign rule as long as they are permitted to stay in their present land. And Issachar tribe had 87,000 fighting men altogether. In Revelation chapter 7 verse 7, 12,000 of the tribe of Issachar sealed. Well-known descendants from this tribe were Tola, a judge, and also king of Bashan. The symbolic stone is a topaz, called so because it was found only after a diligent search. The meaning of the name Issachar is reward. Zebulun. He was the 10th son of Jacob and was the 6th and final son born to his first wife, Leah. Zebulun's future is depicted in Genesis chapter 49 verse 13, where it is said that his descendants will live by the seashore and become a haven for ships, and his border will extend towards Sidon. Revelation chapter 7 verse 8, 12,000 sealed from the tribe of Zebulun. Symbolic stone of Zebulun is a carbuncle derived from a Hebrew root used sometimes for lightning or flashing. Jacob prophesied that Zebulun would live by the seashore, perhaps calling up an image of a flashing light by the sea. Ephraim and Manasseh were Joseph's 2 sons born in Egypt. We find this story in Genesis chapter 30 verses 22 to 23. Joseph, born to Rachel, a favorite son of his father, and Jacob adopts Joseph's 2 sons as his own. Jacob blesses the boys and places Ephraim ahead of Manasseh. Jacob predicts the success of the 2 Joseph tribes. In Revelation chapter 7 verse 8, 12,000 sealed from the tribe of Joseph, Ephraim. Well-known descendants from this tribe were Joshua and Jeroboam. Symbolic stone is ligure, thought by some to resemble the Jachin or yellow jargon. Manasseh, we find it in Genesis chapter 50, and then he had about 32,000 fighting men, and then they failed to expel or chase the Canaanites from the promised land. And Revelation chapter 7 verse 6, 12,000 sealed from the tribe of Manasseh. Well-known descendants, Gideon, symbolic stone, agate, which when cut and polished produce a beautiful light, and this is the special of the stone. Manasseh became a large tribe and experienced much success. Finally, Jacob is going to say something about his son Benjamin, a beloved son born to Rachel, his beloved wife. We find all this in Genesis chapter 35 to 43. And Joseph and Benjamin were very close to one another. And there was a strong relationship between Benjamin and Jacob as well. Jacob describes him as a ravenous wolf, like a ferocious animal. When Joshua allotted the lands in the promised land to the tribes, Judah and Benjamin given the land area which is known as Southern Kingdom around Jerusalem area. The great people came out of this tribe were King Saul, the first king of Israel, Mordecai, Esther chapter 2 verse 5, the Apostle Paul. In Revelation chapter 7 verse 8, 12,000 sealed from the tribe of Benjamin. Symbolic stone, amethyst, a bluish violet stone, which might apply to Benjamin because he and his tribe were hard and often headstrong in their warlike character. May God bless this study in our hearts. Thank you for watching this. If you like this study, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'm going to teach many more simple Bible studies to understand the Old Testament and the New Testament as well. God bless you.